but drawing on her experiences as a lawyer, speaker and baby committee member, her presentation today is all about women running clubs. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the lovely Maggie Scott.
So great to be here. Oh, I haven't had coffee this morning. I promised Larry and Gus and the team that I wouldn't harm you. So no coffee for me yet. Goodness, what a good looking bunch you are. Fantastic. My husband said not to imagine you naked. Oh, heaven. Oops. Okay, what I want you to do for a start is I want you all to stand up, please. Stand up. And it might seem crazy, but I know, one of those speakers. Oh, God. She's not. I love being on stage. Actually, my husband was worried coming to this conference. He can't believe that I get paid to talk. He's offered to pay me to shut up, but he's a bit of a tight ass. Sorry, honey. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to reach up. Don't put any shoulders out or anything. Goodness, reach up. Oh, excellent. And on the count of 3, I want you to lean to the left. Are you standing up here for Terry? Oh, shut up, Terry, again. Shut up. I started. Stand up. On the count of 3, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to reach to the left-hand side. That's your other right, sir. And I want to hear you moan. I want to hear a real moan. On the count of 3, you reach to the left. 1, 2, 3. Really? Really? That was better. No, I'm not accepting that. On the count of 3, I want to hear a real moan. I want you to really mean it. I want you to think of the grumpiest, gnarliest club member that you're representing. Put that picture in your mind. I can hear the groan already. Coming from down here. Okay, on the count of 3. This time to your left, I hear this great big moan. 1, 2, 3. Holy shit. Sorry. This time on the count of 3, I want you to lean to the right, and I want to hear a happy moan. A happy moan. 1, 2, 3. Oh, lovely. Grab a seat. Fantastic. Now that I've got you moaning happily, I feel much more relaxed. Awesome. Okay, can we turn my presentation on? Here we go. Oh, cheeky monkey that I am. Did it come up? No. How can I help you, boys? I could mention that there are no women in the sound, lighting and sound department, but that would be me. Yes. Bless them. Anyway, I know that you know hundreds of incredible women who are currently in clubs, who are managers, who are committee members, who are presidents, who are vice presidents. And heavens, we've even got Caroline, who is a life member. What an incredible woman. So I know that I don't need to speak to you about the incredible women that are currently in our industry doing the best they can possibly do. I've read lots of research from overseas around, obviously, the minister, and Anthony mentioned the economy. And there are studies from all around the world that point to more diversity on boards equals a better bottom line. Okay? So in the current global financial crisis, the companies and the committees and the boards that had a more diverse spread, so women, young people, people from different areas, they outperformed those that didn't have those things. Now, when I said to a good friend of mine, I'm coming to the Clubs New Zealand conference and I'm going to be talking about women in our industry or in clubs, my friend said to me, well, that's quite simple really if you think about Clubs New Zealand. 3 words, isn't it, Amy? I said, oh, I don't know if I want to hear this. What's that? She said, male, pale and stale. I won't reveal my source for fear that she may get some retribution. Okay, I just want to warm you up with a cheek, and here we've got Mrs. Brown. Stunning lady. Beautiful. So are you serious? Woman running clubs? Yeah, right. Sounds like a bit of a TUI ad. Are you ready? I'm going to ask you to watch a little taste of Central Otago, and some of you won't be able to resist having a wee clap or a wee jig. If you get up, that's fantastic. So I'm going to ask you to clap along to this and enjoy it. And I'll be watching you too. Now, and possibly Val, I should do a disclaimer from our committee. Not everyone in Central Otago, and certainly not everyone on our committee, is as much of a freak as me, as Amy Scott. So you're quite safe visiting us down there. You won't have to put up with me. Okay, so who actually runs our clubs? So boards and committees set the vision, who work effectively with their managers to make it happen. I think most of our members, or those that have certainly been members of clubs for the last 40 years, would say that they run them. Particularly the last of the summer wine table in our club, who have an average age of 80. But I'm very lucky to sit at that table. They're stunning blokes, and we solve the problems of the world every Thursday night. My husband says that I only sit there and they only put up with me because they're probably all deaf. I think that's a win-win, don't you? Of course, we get a bit of support from Clubs New Zealand as well in doing that. So what does an effective board look like? And this is quite important. I think we really need to understand this. So our boards need to reflect the needs and interests of their members. So in order to reflect the needs and interests of their members, they need to have an understanding of who their members are. Now in our club, it's about 50-50 male-female. I'm not sure about all the other clubs, but actually, currently on our committee, we're quite lucky. We have a female president, Belle's doing an outstanding job, and they're probably quite unlucky to have me. But that's 2 girls out of 12, not a bad effort. It's clear that boards need to have the necessary skills and expertise to guide the organisation. Personally, I get a bit nervous, or I feel nervous when I hear people say, "Oh, I'm only on the committee because no one else would put their name down." I get a bit nervous when I hear that stuff because we want people on our committees who want to be there, and who want to do a good job. Can adapt productively to change. Change is constant. Change is not comfortable, and nor is it meant to be. Because without change, we wouldn't grow. Okay, so we need to be changing. But having said that, I don't subscribe to the whole thing of going into some organisation and changing everything for the sake of changing it. That's not useful. Okay, it's interesting. I love this quote. Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Interesting. Okay, so let's have a look at our board members and our effective board members. I'm not standing here today telling you that we need to ensure that there is X number of women on all of our boards, or X number of women throughout New Zealand that have to be managers. I personally don't believe that's reasonable. I think it's about best fit for the job. Okay, so people need to have the right skill set, the right expertise. The studies have shown that a lot of women don't recognise that they have those skills. They're less inclined to put their hand up. Okay? Particularly if there's no other woman on the board or doing that role. passion. Our board members need to have passion. They need to be willing to learn, and they need to seek advice when required. No man or no woman is an island. Okay? They need to understand the rules and processes. Now, with me having been a lawyer for 8 years, I am a geek, an incredible geek. I need to read the fine print, and I need to understand the rules and processes. Okay, I don't want to be wasting anyone's time discussing processes and the legislation if I haven't got my head around it. That's not why my members have put me on our board. Okay, they've put me on our board to ask questions and to understand things. Great listeners, approachable, inclusive team players, but you can't all be soft. There needs to be the ability to make those hard decisions. It's really important. Here's some of our many incredibly effective Kiwis, and we are so lucky, and I'm sure there are incredibly effective Australians too. Just probably not as many as we've got. That's okay. So, listen, I've got the mic. It's so lovely. So Sue Shreven, she's the incredible woman who's from Invercargill, now living in Queenstown. She mortgaged her house to set up orphanages throughout the world. So she founded Orphans Aid International. Incredible. They've got orphanages in Romania, Russia, where was the other one? Cambodia, and I think just Africa. Incredible. Rob Fife, I don't need to talk about him, PhD, but obviously Dame Wendy Pine, some of you may know her. She's, I think, 70. She's just a young 70, young 71. She still gets up in the morning at 4:30 to take phone calls and respond to inquiries from all around the world. This woman's passionate about literacy, and she set up her publishing empire. I think she's worth about $100 million. Good effort. John Kirwan, what an incredibly brave man to speak publicly about his depression. It's a topic that we Kiwis are not comfortable talking about. It's not a popular topic. What an incredible man to get up there and talk about. And I should have Sir John Kirwan. So I apologise for that mistake. Here's some cool Kiwi woman, clearly. Truly, what an amazing woman. She's obviously the patron of the RSA and very involved in violence, domestic violence boards, and also cancer. And obviously Teresa Gatting, Shannon Elias, Val, Tessa, Judy Bailey, and this is Ben Shreven, from Orphans Aid International. So the case for woman. I'm going to give you some stats. I'm sure this presentation will be available for you to look at, and you can do your own research. But actually there was a study in 2011, the Goldman Sachs study, that basically said that if we close the gap between male and female employment rates, that would boost New Zealand's GDP by 10%. And we talked about economy being one of the key areas that politicians are interested in. Of course they should be interested in. Our current GDP is $180 billion. So this is a serious issue in terms of if we can boost that by 10%, that's fantastic. It's great for our country. The report identified particularly that the lack of women in leadership and on boards in particular, that was an area requiring urgent attention. There is a group in New Zealand, it's a bunch of CEOs and business owners, a 25% group. They don't think the government should regulate and intervene by saying there should be a 25% quota. Rather, they think that it's something that industry should take responsibility for itself. So diversity of thought is vital for business success, it's in the national interest. There are other clubs around the world. This is not just a New Zealand thing, this whole getting women on boards or into committees, it's an international thing. In fact, over 10 years ago, Norway did regulate, and they stated that it needed to be, I think it was 40%. Now in Norway, 100% of their companies have at least one woman on their boards, and they have 40% They've met their threshold, which is incredible, really, really big deal. And then they've got the male champions of change in Australia, which may or may not know about them. Sure. But did a bit of homework on that flight home. So, come here to be educated. Isn't that always the way? Okay, so in a nutshell though, we can look at figures and we can look at facts. But really, what does it boil down to, ladies and gentlemen? What it boils down to is if we have more women on our boards, women bring different experiences and perspectives to the table. We can't help but not. We're different. They bring new knowledge and connections, and because we have female members in our clubs, then we have true representation. Okay? And like I said earlier, it is great for business. It is good for the bottom line. Just looking at the stats from our clubs in New Zealand, out of our 302 presidents, 28 are female. What an amazing effort for those girls. Fantastic. 274 are male. We've got a wee bit of work to do here. Oh, it was a bit southward, wasn't it? And I found that a bit southward. So we've got a wee bit of work. I'm not suggesting for one moment that you go back to your clubs and say, Amy Scott said, and who does she think she is, by the way? Amy Scott said that we need to get some more chicks on our board. Okay? I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that you do look around though, look around your members and your board and look for the skills that these ladies may have that they could bring to the committee table. Okay? None of this is rocket science. Please. What about our VPs, our vice presidents? We're doing a wee bit better, but still not quite there. Okay. Just out of interest, how many managers have we got here? Well, hands up, managers. Please, hands up, just so I can see. There's a few of you. Just keep the girl managers, the female managers. Can we see? Oh, sorry, I forget you guys are up there. Hello. Welcome. Stunning. Okay, there's a few. Well done. Fantastic. Dave Chambers, you mentioned Woolworths. Dave Chambers is the managing director of Progressive Enterprises. That's the company that runs Countdown, SuperValue. They employ 18,500 Kiwis. Now, it's a big company. And he's saying, look, you know, there is a real waste of talent and resource in New Zealand with women not adequately represented in senior management positions and boards. And that's despite them comprising a high percentage of both the workforce and tertiary qualifications. Okay, so our girls are actually outperforming boys in gaining their qualifications. So really, what does it look like though? How do we engage? How do we get people or women interested in stepping forward? Perhaps it's just about shoulder tapping. Have you heard the story of Mahi Drysdale, our best rower, or maybe our second best now? You know, he got pimped out by his coach, basically. He got a New Zealand trial when he was a New Zealand trial, and as he got into his canoe, his coach bent over, and people were surprised that he even got a trial. I mean, he only started canoeing because that was the only sport left for him to get on the bus to go down and party in Dunedin. All the other sports were full. That's how he started his rowing. Anyway, so he's lined up for this New Zealand trial, and his coach leans over and says, oh, by the way, I told them you could row 10 seconds faster than you can. Don't let me down. I'm an amazing coach to pimp him out. And he saw the potential. Mahi himself hadn't seen that he could do that. And he did do his coach proud. The rest is history, we know that. So maybe it's just about just being a bit more open to those around and those in our clubs who may well be able to make a very real difference. This lady, a clever lady, CEO of ASB Bank, she's just saying research and experience has shown time and again that leadership from from diverse backgrounds and experiences improve business outcomes. Okay, simple. I looked at this and I went, do you know, the case for women is no different for the case for younger people. Okay? Bringing younger people on board, they too can bring different experiences and perspectives. They too bring new knowledge and connections, not always palatable knowledge, sometimes quite different ideas. But again, it's that diversity and true representation. And I don't need to be talking to you about young people in terms of they are the future of our industry, whether we want to improve our membership and survive or go through to the future. Love this. I've been on our committee now for 9 months. I've been a grandmother for the same amount of time, and I've still got a lot to learn in both respects. Okay? I love these t-shirts. Clear message and important message. Talk to old people. They know cool stuff that you don't. Talk to young people. They know cool stuff that you don't. If you have any problems with your iPads or phones, I'm sure you understand. You just find a 4-year-old and they'll sort it out for you. Blows my mind, absolutely. So in my own experience, wow, 9 months. This is the expression, I think, of all of the committee members when they saw that I got elected. Now, I think you'll back me up. Oh no! It has been a steep learning curve for me. I'm very passionate about our club. I see the very real need in our community for people to have somewhere safe and warm to hang out. And we are key to our community. Isn't it funny how, I'm a communication expert. I go around the country and I talk to different people, whether it's a bunch of CEOs in Wellington. In fact, I was in Rotorua 2 years ago and I had a whole day with 66 apprentice shearers. It was awesome. Absolutely fantastic. Bloody brilliant. And so I'm a communication expert, but isn't it true those things that you are an expert in can often become the things that are most challenging for you? The plumber whose taps leak, the mechanic whose car constantly breaks down. So as a communication expert, I've certainly experienced a lot of communication breakdowns. I'm certainly definitely passionate about our club. Look, I've learned so much from the table, from the last of the summer wine, and meeting new people. Gosh, they've taught me a thing or three. But there is a delicate balance that's required. Our members obviously they find it quite easy to criticise from the sidelines, and yet when the elections come around, do any of them put their hands up? No. So, and again, thinking about our MPs or our local body councillors, or anyone actually that is willing to put their hand up and take action, I have immense respect for. Even with the MPs and the electioneering, of course we're a wee bit cynical. Of course they're going to tell us what we want to hear. Okay? But there is a delicate balance. I come up with some quick tips, and these may or may not help you, and they certainly have helped me. If you think about every communication breakdown that you have ever experienced, one or both of you will have been doing one or more of these 3 things: expecting, assuming, or demanding. Think back to every argument you've ever had. One or more of you will have been doing one or more of those things: expecting, assuming, or demanding. Now, for me, probably the big lesson, a recent lesson for me, was the assuming. I assumed that some of our committee members were quite au fait with email. Big lesson. Not all of our committee members actually understand that email is simply an electronic letter. The only difference is it hasn't been posted. Okay, so for us, there was a bit of a communication breakdown around that. So what I need to say is that on our committee, I'm the youngest by about 10 years. And then it's my husband, lucky man, brave man. And then there's another 10-year gap for him. And he's our vice president. Okay? So, there's been a lot of learning. It's great. Be open. I think that's key. Being open to new ideas and what's happening. Listen. Listen not only to the members, but listen to Clubs New Zealand, because they've got the overall picture of what's going on. And listen to the committee members. I think that's really, really key. Keeping your eye on the big picture is important. And Anthony, I liked what you said around building relationships with our politicians. Actually getting in front of them and letting them know what we're about and who we do. Because relationships is the key to life, really. It's all about relationships. And I guess, as Rachel Hunter would say, it won't happen overnight, but it will happen. She's got much longer hair than me. Okay. I love this quote as well. There's only one way to avoid criticism, and that's doing nothing, saying nothing, and being nothing. And by virtue of each and every one of you being here today, you're not subscribing to that. You've turned up, you're engaged, you're open, you're listening, you're hopefully enjoying the presentation. Pretty good though. What I want you to do now is I just want you to talk to one or two people. I'm going to give you a minute, one or two people beside you, and just come up with a couple of names of potential women in your club who might not go on to the committee straight away, but might be someone that you think, actually, we never thought about talking to Barbara or Julie. Just take 1 minute, go. Currently, of their 12 members, they have 2 men on their board, and they were talking at some work I did with them the end of last year. They were talking, look, there will be a time, Amy, when we have a male CEO, and that's fine. Because wouldn't we be like in terms of best fit for the job? We can't then, if someone fronts up to us, we're not going to not have them as our CEO because it's a bloke. You know, that's exactly the opposite. That's what we've been going through. So that doesn't make sense. Okay? Yeah, it's interesting. If you do want to do a bit more reading on this, and look, I know Gus pretty much gave me a hospital pass. Love you, Gus. In terms of talking about women and clubs, but when it does affect your bottom line, it is, and your membership, it is something that you want to be a bit aware of. Okay? You do want to get around that. Particularly, when it comes down to economics, and business is about economics. I mean, if your membership's dwindling or you're not getting a lot of new members, you need to be asking the question as to why. And perhaps there are women in the community that perceive your club to be just for the blokes. Okay? Women spend money. We're good at it, aren't we, Helen? You want them in your club spending money. That's how we survive. So, we need members. Without members, none of us would be here. That's for sure. I think this woman, Agnes Brown, is a great advocate for women, although she does actually have a penis. But just get past that bit. Women running clubs, absolutely. And I think she'd say absolutely if it was a woman. And I was speaking, I didn't swear, I won't upset anyone today. Absolutely. Hey, look, thanks so much for your time this morning. There's so much more I could say, but I don't want to take you away from those sponsors who've been really generous turning up. So I'm going to leave you with just a little bit of Roger Miller before Terry